guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review on the production Luft Concepts Avant. So I've had this knife now a few weeks. I don't know if it's been quite a month yet. I got in on the pre-order, obviously. I got both versions. The satin version here with the black micarta, and then I also got the coated version with the green micarta. Those are the two pre-order versions. There are natural micarta versions now, but those are show exclusives. I sold the black coated one to Javon pretty quickly. One, because, you know, he's a buddy and he wanted one. Two, I just really prefer the satin one. I didn't really need two. Yeah, so use, I have carried this guy quite a bit. My stout prototype was out on loan for a little while to Backpack B to do a promotional video for us, and that whole time I had this in my front left pocket. I've carried it a little bit otherwise as well. The stout has dominated my front left pocket, to be honest, though. So I probably carried this for about a week total. Quick size comparison to the Devo Knives Stout. I'm not sure if the pre-order is over at this point when you're seeing this, but if not, April 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern on our website, devoknives.com. Now you can see the Avant is slightly bigger in the handle. In the blade length, they are about the same, honestly. And you just have a little bit more of that handle sticking out on the Avant. Both are in that just sweet spot for EDC, in my opinion. This one has an absolutely beautiful hollow grind. Black micarta, titanium hardware, and back spacer. You are on bearings. This one's on skiff bearings. Great action. You do have a detent ball rent, which I will talk about later as one of my negatives on this knife, actually. You have a flipper tab and a hole for deployment. You have a deep carry wire clip. Does not go all the way to the butt end, which is kind of ironic for Jake to have a knife that he designed, but that does not go to the butt end, but it's plenty butt end for me. The clip is actually titanium. Now, you'll see on some wire clips, they are steel, like ours. Well, this one's titanium too. Or it's just maybe a type of steel that's not super magnetic. I don't know. They have about the same amount of resistance, to be honest. So I don't know. I think this could be titanium maybe, and in production it'll be steel. I'm not sure, but they've told me it's steel, so that's what I'm going with. Anyway, this one I believe, I'm not sure then. Could be titanium, who knows? Although I do believe I've heard that it's hard to do a wire clip out of titanium because it's very thin and it could cause issues of some sort. So take what I said with a grain of salt. I'm not sure. All right, let's jump into the review. This is designed by my good buddy, Jake, over at Bearded Gear. I'm actually wearing my holes over stud shirt right now, ironically. And his business partner, Ryan Rimmer of Rimmer Designs. And they make up Luft Concepts LLC. So this is their first offering, the only one that we know of at this point. I believe they are working on a couple things. But this is the only announced product that they have. And it's a cool knife. It's definitely unique in many ways. It's similar to other things in other ways, but overall, super unique product, super unique package. I think they went about it in a really cool way. I do have some, obviously, nitpicks and stuff like that. Of course, I always do it, and I think everyone will have nitpicks with knives. That's just kind of the way it goes. Whether you're going to tell people or not is your decision. I'm one of the people that tells people. I do have my AHA here. This is a pineapple and passion fruit, I believe. Delicious. All right, so aesthetically, I talked about this in my unboxing of the prototype like 9 months ago. It's not my aesthetic. Like, I'm just not into knives with a belly up at the tip like this. Like the Koenig Arius is a beautiful knife, but it's not like my aesthetic, right? And this has Arius vibes in the blade, right? It has some Strider vibes in the handle. And then overall, it kind of has a Spyderco PM2 kind of vibe, right? None of those knives are for me. Like, I just don't like any of those knives. Now, Jake likes, I think, all of those knives. I don't think he's a huge Strider fan, like, in general, but I think he likes Strider design, if that makes sense. But he loves the Arius, loves PM2, boom, right? And then Ryan Rimmer obviously shares those beliefs, right? So you can see those knives in here, but at the same time, it's completely unique in its own way, right? And that's what I love about it. The hole shape, the hollow grind, the blade shape, the handle design, the wire clip on it. It's just, it is unique in its own way. It's pretty crazy. So aesthetically, not for me, but I think a lot of people are digging this. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a Spyderco guy, which there's a lot of Spyderco guys. I'm just not one of them, right? Quick size comparison. I have 2 Spydercos in on loan from Sinister. Shout out the Sinister knife. That's the Capara. And then we have the Smock. So there you go. A couple of size comparisons for you. Not a huge fan of either of these, honestly. I do like the Capara, but being left-handed, it's just kind of useless to me. So there you go. And then let's do this one. We have the Civivi Conspirator. A new button lock offering. I saw they're dropping a sheep's foot kind of version of this, which I'm all over that. All right, so let's move on. Ergonomics. You have a grip back here and also a choil kind of area up here, right? Now, me personally, I would never hold a knife like this. It's just kind of weird to me. But you can hold a knife like this, drop into this ramp, and you're kind of good to go, right? Me would never do that. I would always go up into this kind of flat area. And the way they designed the flipper tab, it's a flat. So it's really nice. Now, that does take away from it being able to be a choil, which I truly would have preferred a choil. Excuse me. But this is fine, right? Very comfortable in hand. For me, I'm not really on the ramp anymore, but again, very PM2 Para 3-esque right here in this grip, and you could slide up here. You do have a crown spine from here up, which is awesome. Feels great in hand like this. I feel super locked in. I have no hot spots because I'm far enough up that I'm not really getting that clip very much, right? Feels great. Right-handed. Now I have the clip reverse, but same thing. Very comfortable. I think the ergonomics are fantastic. If you're into Friday night gas station fights, you have an absolute dream right here. Now you can't like bear down on this super hard because it might hurt a little bit, but I don't know who's doing that. You can do this real nice. This is a little less comfortable, but you can do it. I don't do any grips but like this and like this, right? A pinch grip feels really comfortable as well. You can climb up here and use that belly to do whatever you want to do. You could cut a package with that or whatever. I would prefer, it would have been sweet if this was just a Tanto. I think that would have been money for me personally because I get a secondary tip, boom, cut into packages, cut out my shipping labels. This is just kind of awkward for me to get up into that tip because of that belly that whips up there at the end. So again, for me, the blade shape isn't ideal. Ergonomics, fantastic. Let's talk about the cutting then. This knife is incredible. You have a excellent hollow grind, nice deep hollow grind on what is not super thick stock to begin with. I don't know, 0.12, something like that. Really nice grind. I love that it starts inside this window right here. It just looks super unique to me. And the target thickness on this guy was 15 thousandths behind the edge. I have not touched this guy up at all. This is the factory edge. I've cut open some packages, cut some cardboard with it. I think that's about it. Just normal day-to-day stuff. And obviously that edge is holding up, that stock edge from Riot on that M390. Again, I know it's paper. Doesn't really tell you the whole story, but it tells you something. They did a good job at the factory edge, right? I think the cutting is just excellent on this knife. Now, you have that belly, but a lot of this edge is straight right here, right? So you do get a good amount going through cardboard. You don't tend to slip out of a cut like you do with, say, a Quiet Carry Drift or, say, a Oz Machine Company Roosevelt, right? What happens on these knives, one of the reasons I don't love them for cutting as much as I do other knives is when I go through a cut, I get to that belly and it just wants to come right out of that cut, right? And this does the same thing on the Roosevelt. And I think they kind of mitigated that a little bit here with the Avant, because you get that straight edge and then that belly really starts up here. It doesn't start here and kind of swoop slowly up. It's just like a boop, and you're up at the tip, almost like a Japanese Tanto. And you can stay through your cuts a lot truer with this blade shape, in my opinion. Now, again, with labels and stuff like that, not my favorite knife because I have to get up here real high to get to that tip. I didn't find I was getting enough power behind the belly here to get through cuts, like paper cuts and stuff like that. It would definitely work with probably trying to push through a package or something, just open. You know, a lot of times what I open is like something that's shrink wrapped, right? And you just need a edge to touch it and slide down. That'll work perfectly for that, right? Carry, wire clip, super lightweight. This thing weighs nothing, guys. That is one of its unique features, in my opinion. A knife made or designed and made by a boutique brand like this, you just don't see a lot of that where it's like a super lightweight knife or something. You know, it has the same build basically as, has basically the same build as this micarta F5.5 here, but yet it just feels a lot lighter. Now, it's not. It probably is. Actually, it is probably about the same, because you do have M390, you have micarta, titanium backspacer clip, right? It's all pretty much the same, but this does have quite a bit of length on the F5, so for it to be the same weight, and you're getting an extra half an inch of blade, I think that's pretty impressive. While I have this out, in terms of build quality, if we compare these guys, because I know a lot of people are going to do that, right? They're going to go, this was $299 at pre-order. I could get one of these for $200. Now, this version's $229, right? But $200 for the same version, right? Micarta and satin blade. That's how much these were. Now, I want to point out some things. You have a hollow grind on this, which is going to cost money. You have a crown spine on this, which is going to cost money. You have a reversible wire clip, which I would argue is probably going to cost more than just doing this on the right side. I don't know. That one I'm not positive about, right? Then, most importantly, what you have is a small company, boutique brand, ordering a minimum quantity. Their minimum was 300. So that's basically, the pre-order was for 300. Now, did they order more? Yes. But the minimum was 300, and they probably ordered at 400 or 500, right? Because they have the ones for shows we all know about, right? This is EDC Supply ordering this knife directly from Ria and selling it. So my guess is the order quantity on this was much larger. EDC Supply was an established company at this point. They did a pre-order that was for a while, I think. So they probably had, I don't know, at least 500 is probably the minimum on this one, right? And you have to base your price off that minimum, not off of how well your pre-order does and then you adding extras like they did, right? They had to base it off of, well, we need to order 300. That's our minimum. What's the price for that, right? Maybe the pre-order went well and they ended up ordering an extra 100. Okay, but they didn't know that was going to happen. So they priced it as if it was 300. Lastly, I believe they planned to sell some of these to dealers, and I'm not sure if that's still happening or not. But when you involve a dealer, I know this personally, and all this stuff I'm telling you right now is based off of personal experience from what I'm learning right now with Devo knives, right? When you plan to include dealers in it, they want 30%, guys. They want 30% margin. That's a pretty big chunk. So you need to keep that in mind. You have to include packaging, shipping, the dealer margin, all types of keeping the lights on, building a website, right? All of these things. So a lot of people think it's like, oh, there's two designers and they're trying to get their money, right? And that's what people say about our knife too. But that's not the case, guys. Like, I can tell you from talking to Jake and from what we're doing with Devo, they just want to make enough money to make the knife, obviously, have some extra for warranty and stuff. You have to do that. Cover all the costs, and then have some money left over to roll into a new project, because you have to keep moving forward. You have to get prototypes of new projects. You have to maybe get some money to fund new projects, things like that. So the costs just exponentially just add up, guys. So $2.99 is not that much. And then if you think about the packaging they put into it, the fanny pack, all the stickers and stuff, I think it was worth the $2.99. But that's why you have that difference, guys. I just want to make that clear, because Urban EDC is a dealer. They don't have to worry about that dealer price margin or whatever. So I think it was worth the $2.99 with everything included. Did it seem a little bit high? Yes. But I think it was worth it, and I don't think they were like ripping anybody off. I think that's just what it cost to do everything they did. Now, personally, I would have preferred if they didn't do all the packaging and they just gave me the knife for $2.50. I think that would have been a good sort of middle ground there. I think that would have made more people happy. But these guys are their own people. They made their own company, and they made their own decision, and they wanted to do something unique in the pre-order world. And I think they did that. So whether you think the price is high or not, they accomplished what they wanted to. They made awesome packaging that people will always remember. And I can tell you guys, usually anything I get on pre-order goes in the box of boxes, and does not come out until I sell the knife, or it just sits in there if I don't sell the knife, right? This time, the fanny pack, my wife is using it. She literally wears it. I've seen her going out with it. So they did something right. You know what I mean? So anyway, sorry about the rant there. Carry is absolutely excellent. Left pocket, right pocket. It's a reversible clip. I really appreciate that. On a boutique brand knife like this, you never get reversible clips. You will from us at Devo Knives, and it looks like you will from Luft Concepts. So really, really appreciate that. And it weighs nothing, guys. Size-wise, it's excellent. If you can carry a pair of 3 or PM2, this will carry like a dream. I mean, it's shorter, you know what I mean? This way. And probably lighter. So anyway, sounds. There you go. So not crazy in the sound department, but it's cool. You don't have any tings or anything. But for a micarta and liner lock knife, I think it sounds just fine. It's not going to be high up there. It's a 5 out of 10, right? That's what you expect with a knife with these materials. Okay, so we covered aesthetics, ergos, cutting, carry, and sound. So action, detent. It is literally perfect, guys. When I reviewed the prototype, I thought the detent was light, but that was me not understanding how the deployments were meant to be. The detent is perfect. This is a flipper tab, and it fires every time reliably, and it's satisfying. They also put a little notch right here on the flipper tab that used to be a point on the prototype, and it makes a world of difference, guys. No jimping, because they hate jimping. Fair enough. But what I didn't realize was if you flick from the bottom of the hole, look how far away you are from the pivot. So the closer you are to the pivot, the better you're going to get, the more power you're going to get on your flip. So think about it. Flipper tab right next to the pivot. What happens? You get a nice, strong, crisp deployment. But if you're all the way down here, you can get it to just leak out, right? But if you go at the top of the hole and fire it vertically, boom. Flies out, locks up every time. Super satisfying, guys. And then you have a really nice thumb flick as well. Breaks the detent, fires out, locks up. Ooh, as you stab your table. Locks up. Excellent, excellent action. Just remember, you need to flick from the top of the hole, and it's fine. People will complain. They'll say the detent's too light, because I did that. I learned my lesson, and it makes sense. It's intuitive to flick like this. You know what I mean? Like you flick, you grip, and you're good to go. So I think the detent is perfect. Any stronger in that flipper tab would feel weird. It's fidgety as hell. You can see the action on the drop. Look at that. Drops all the way. Shake close. This is on skiff bearings. I've heard with break-in, the stock bearings can be just as good, but I know I just recommend throwing skiffs in there. It's 5mm 1/16. I will say on arrival, the knife was super dry, like bone dry, and just needed a little love, guys. And that happens sometimes. These are coming from China. You know, Riot might have shipped them dry to avoid getting stains and stuff on the micarta, whatever, right? So you got to throw a little oil in, take it apart. You should know how to take apart your knives if you're buying $300 knives, you know? Is that ideal? No. Of course, you don't want to have to maintain your knife when you get it. But is it a deal breaker? I don't think so. You just watch a YouTube video if you don't know how to do it. And, you know, I did a disassembly. I think Jake did a disassembly. You can easily take this thing apart and put it back together with a T8 Torx. So, I don't know. To each their own. I get it. It's going to bother some people. I also heard that the weather from shipping from China to Texas to wherever you are may have affected the micarta, which may have affected the action. Again, just needs to be taken apart, reset, broken, right? The action, I think, is incredible for a knife this light with a blade that light. Just works excellently, in my opinion. The detent ramp. That's my biggest contention with this knife. Right here is, right here is where it kind of jumps onto the detent ramp, travels to there, and that's where you come off the ramp, right? That's not a late detent because it's a ramp, right? But if you get caught anywhere in that track before this part right here, it wants to shoot back up when you go to shake it, right? I want to shake it down real quick. I'm gonna get it to just shoot back up every time because the energy you use to go to shake it down, you end up shaking it up, right? And I just think on this knife, it was not necessary. And left-handed, it's worse because you have to go all the way to here before you can start closing it like that. So if I do this, what happens? It starts sliding back up on its own and locks up. See, I'll do it fast to show you. Like, it's not me, it just wants to lock up. So, if you look at it, there's nothing hitting you. There's no flipper tab that's going to hit you or anything. So there's no reason for a detent ramp. The detent would have broke right here, I think. So it would have just, boop, would have done that anyway. Now, right-handed, you don't really notice this problem. But left-handed, you really do because you end up hitting that. You have to go all the way to here, and then you can start shaking down. So what I've been doing is grabbing it like this and pulling a Brandon Ziegler. I just put my middle or index finger in here, push the lock bar, let it drop, and then shake it down. And that works great. But that's what I have to do to avoid that lock detent ramp issue. So I haven't asked Jake about this or anything, but it seemed like they just really like detent ramps. They know that detent ramps are a premium thing on knives, and they're done on higher-end knives, and they just put one on the knife. That's what it's... I probably deserved that. That was Jake coming to get me. I think that's what happened. They just thought it was cool, and they threw it on there. I don't know. I could be wrong, and I haven't even thought to ask about it. But that's what it seems like it was. It was just like, we should have a detent ball ramp, so let's do it, you know? And half of you are going to be like, what's that? Like, who cares? So there you go, right? Doesn't matter. So guys, overall, this knife is absolutely awesome. It has grown on me so much since I got it. I liked it when I had the prototype. I thought it was great. I knew it was going to be an excellent EDC knife, but it has truly, like, really grown on me and become a favorite of mine, honestly. It just, man, I'm just terrible today. It just has great action, great fidgetability. It's super lightweight. It's like having a premium PM2 in your pocket. That's what it feels like to me. And I've never had a PM2 or Para 3 that's stuck around because it just gets old. I don't know. I just don't like the compression lock, all that stuff. So what they did was give me a hollow ground, crown spine, just absolute beast of a PM2. And that's how I feel about it. And I think it's excellent. So that is the Luft Concepts Avant, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Jake, Ryan, you guys did a great job. Thank you. Can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. I love you all. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.